Hilarion says that when we have times of stillness and we master the art of meditation, that we can absorb more truth. Because when we still our minds become much more receptive to the higher frequencies, the higher aspects of truth. Divine revelation, holy wisdom, those intrepid thought forms, heart forms, sacred glyphs and engrams of light that are engrammatic, sometimes enigmatic, yet which we can understand through that mastery of the self and the mind, the monkey mind, by calming that mind and having it be superseded by and supplanted by the Christ mind. If we don't have times of stillness, silence, stillness, in nature, in our homes, then we're missing something as an opportunity for a greater self-realization. Remember that Gautama sat under the Bo tree, Jesus went into the wilderness. In addition to preparing themselves for their missions, and for Gautama being fully enlightened, they were absorbing high solar frequencies into their cells, into their minds, into their beings, so that when they would go forth, they would have the strength and the power of that truth through their own conviction and their own discipline, in order that when they would speak, the clarion call of that truth would immediately affect the ethers, and that all in their vicinity, all in their aura, would be impelled higher. They would literally be conquered by that truth, in the positive sense that the truth would overcome them, and they were helpless in the face of that truth to accept it, to be nurtured by it, to be blessed and encouraged and transformed by it. When truth comes to you, it is an empowerment of the Holy Spirit. And even if we don't think of truth as one of the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit, wisdom is. Wisdom is the 3rd gift. Faith, knowledge, wisdom. And that wisdom is an empowerment directly from the mind of God into our minds, our hearts, so that as truth is instilled within us, we are empowered to go forth to use that understanding, that knowledge, and the grace of that knowledge to help transform lives, bless others, raise them up, lead them toward their own self-realization, enlightenment, and freedom. If we are true initiates, we will set aside time in stillness to receive more and more divine understandings, blessings that come through those understandings, initiatic fire that comes through those understandings, divine gifts of the Spirit that empower us to move forward and to complete our missions and to empower, inspire, and enlighten others. If we're only always doing outer things and not setting aside time for the Spirit to speak to us, the Spirit to move through us, the Spirit to illumine and enlighten us, then we're missing a great opportunity. So make sure that you set aside time between you and God, unencumbered by phones, computers, devices of any kind, where you can sit still, maybe at sunrise, sunset, noon, whenever, and attune with your divine antennas to the holy frequencies of heaven, where you impel God to communicate with you. You impel your I Am Presence to transcendently reveal to you what it is right now that you require for your path and for the passing of your initiations and for the work that you're doing. And the playful fun that you're having too, because our work should be playful and fun. So with that said, Hilarion would like to share a teaching: befriending truth, honoring truth, embodying truth. Dear ones, these hours of truth together are opportunities for you to befriend truth, to honor truth, and to embody truth. When you gradually engage in a deeper communion with truth, she serves you in a more direct, personal, and dynamic way. And when truth becomes a greater focus in your life and consciousness, her work on your behalf yields graces in many more domains, both physical and spiritual. To befriend truth is to allow her to become an ever-present compatriot, one with whom you can speak to about anything related to her own focus on divine reality. She inscribes within you greater elements of what is pure and undefiled within your causal nature, that aspect of yourself that has never descended into unreality. She highlights specifics for you to be aware of and work on in order to safeguard your spirit in light and to refine your consciousness within God's domain, eternality in oneness. Befriending truth affords you entree into a spiritual league of courageous souls who are willing to face reality at every turn and make decisions that move them ever higher on their pathway home to love and light. Conferring with truth to maintain the harmony and equilibrium of your being throughout the initiatic testings in order to avoid the pitfalls of the dweller on the threshold provides you with the required impetus to begin to commune and even merge with other divine beings who, with truth, will care for you through thick and thin. Honoring truth involves deep listening to her inspiration, as well as deep feeling of the radiation conveyed through her gentle yet firm coaxings. Being able to witness the veracity of her wisdom teachings and the specificity of her guidance within every scenario teaches you how you too may convey what is optimal to others when you are called upon to share, teach, and coach others on the path. To honor the ineluctable reality of truth's divine essence through her own higher communion with the all in all brings you, through humility, to the very fount of her source of light and love, the ineffable glory of God as holiness, as joy, as cosmic purity. Truth is an intrepid leader whose example is so heroic that few can follow her all the way through the most intense battles of light over darkness, of wisdom over ignorance, of love over reactivity and apathy. Embodying truth is the crux of the path for all disciples. How will you face the unreality of your lesser nature to fully imbibe the glory of your perfected self? How will you surrender every vestige of illusion to embrace the reality of your God presence? How will you finally let go of the last moorings of human nonsense that have kept you bound to this plane of being in order to ascend into God consciousness and solar awareness. I bring you these dynamics tonight because, as a student and disciple myself of beloved Pallas Athena, and having my etheric retreats so near her own over Athens and Greece, I can speak from experience and from a deep spiritual dive, or high ascent, into what constitutes truth, reality, and beingness through authenticity and sincerity, through what I would call devotional allegiance to the highest expression of her own cosmic virtue, truth. I therefore invite you to befriend and honor Pallas Athena and to embody her heroic energies daily through striving ever higher to ply your gifts for God and all things and for all souls. Victory in truth is my fiat tonight, as you now choose to know and be truth at all costs. Thank you. Reflecting on this message of befriending truth, honoring truth, and embodying truth, you find that the first is to get to know what truth is, who truth is. And in this case, truth with a capital T is Pallas Athena, the goddess of truth. When you befriend her, you are anointed by her spiritual frequencies on the emerald ray, which are powerful because she is a goddess of truth. She is a powerful being. She holds that shield and she holds the spear. And at the tip of the spear is an energy that is so intense that when she thrusts that spear forward, nothing can stand in the way of that. It is pierced. And what does she pierce with that spear? Unreality. And when unreality is pierced, reality appears. Isn't that interesting? Yes. When unreality is pierced, truth, reality appears. Befriending truth is an initiation. Many people shirk away from truth because when they confront her, they can't get away with anything anymore, right? You can't get away with your lesser self controlling your life. When you face reality, when you face and befriend truth, she is your greatest advocate, yet it's a daunting thing because there's nowhere else to go but up and within. You can't go backward. She leads you forward. She's an intrepid leader. She's a conqueror. She is a victor. So you may as well just follow her, right? You may as well just befriend her and be truthful. There was an initiation this past week with someone in our movement. All about truth. The whole thing was about truth. This person wasn't truthful. Tried to get something through the system and warped the truth. The Master El Morya knew it all along, and he called this person out. And so the truth came and exposed the whole situation. And, God bless this person, but it was an initiation in truth this very week. Honoring truth. What happens when you befriend truth and get to know her? Well, then you start working with her. And in that process of being an initiate and being a disciple, you obviously have to honor her directives. Sometimes they're dictates. Sometimes they're recommendations. Sometimes they're just inspirations. When you feel impelled to do something, honor yourself, your higher self, because your higher self will always know what is real, what is the best option. And so when you make right choices, you honor truth. Remember that. When I make right choices, I am honoring truth. The truth of my higher self, the truth of Pallas Athena, the truth of every Ascended Master, including my sponsoring master. When you dishonor truth, what happens? You fail your test because you're not listening, you're not obeying. So listening and obeying is a part of honoring. If we don't listen to our father or our mother, how can we honor them? Remember the fourth of the 10 commandments. I believe it was the fourth. Honor thy father and thy mother, so that you can have long life upon the earth. Remember that? That's part of the same commandment. Honor your father and mother so that you may have long life upon the earth. People forget about the second part of that. It's just they think it's about obeying our father and our parents. So that you can have long life. Why are you going to have long life? Because by honoring and obeying the Father, Mother, God, and your own parents, you come into a field of divine authenticity and you make right choices again and again and again, and your life is blessed. Your life is protected. Your pathway is clear. If you dishonor your guru, your master, your higher self, your personal sponsoring master, how can you expect that one to lead you forward? Because, yeah, they're going to smile and wink at your indiscretions. You're just not going to go up higher as fast as you could. So by honoring truth, you ascend more quickly. Finally, embodying truth. Embodying truth. Wow, that is an initiation. Now I must be the completeness of truth in every situation. I cannot lie. Although I remember hearing a few weeks ago the Master saying, and this would be a rare situation, but if you spoke the truth in a certain situation where that could cause someone's death, that's not the right thing to do. It's like if you're in the military and you're caught by the enemy. Well, that's why they gave them cyanide pills, so that they wouldn't spill their beans and reveal the strategies to the enemy. So that's an exception. But most of us are not in that situation. So we have to be truth always and ever. We have to embody it. It has to live within us. It embodies through us. In other words, we are the embodiment of truth. Body, soul, and mind, and heart, spirit. When we embody truth, we are courageous, we are intrepid, we are victorious. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. That's what we are. You can't embody truth and speak a lie and be dishonorable toward others. You can't gossip. You can't deny others their value, their life, their energy, their truth. I still find that we at times devolve into criticism, condemnation, and judgment. We speak ill of others. Why do we do this? Maybe we observe behavior. We observe situations that we don't like or we think are compromising them and maybe us. Do we have to do it in such a way that we dishonor their I am presence, their divine individuality, and even their human personality by gossiping? Al-Moriaz warned us about this. Melchizedek was very intensely firm about it, and yet I still observe it happening. When we catch ourselves beginning to say anything negative about someone else, we have to simply choose to stop and avoid speaking or even thinking or even feeling that negativity. Why? Because it disempowers us. Remember Omram's quote from a few days ago? It was so amazing. I think I should find it and reread it to you. Why? Because he told us Here we go. September 26th, 4 days ago. Try to talk as little as possible about other people's faults, because by mentioning them, you come in contact with these faults and so harm yourself. When you badmouth someone, heaven says, "How much do you have in your account?" Give half of it to the person you are talking about. Since you wish to correct them, you must be rich, so give them some of your wealth. However, when you say good things about someone, heaven says to them, as they speak well of you, share some of your treasures with them. So if you speak ill of others, it is they who will profit from it, whereas if you speak well of them, then you will benefit. Suppose you are obliged to say something negative about someone. Do not leave it at that. Add a positive word. Whatever their flaws may be, try to find a good quality in them and comment on it so that you end on a positive note. Never dwell on the negative. Such words of wisdom. If we mastered this one art, this science of truth, by never, ever engaging in negative commentary about another person, we will make great progress on our path of self-realization, because we will conquer the vile energy of gossip, a perversion on the 6 o'clock line of the Divine Mother and the cosmic clock. We've heard this. We know it. So remember, we have the practice within our movement of the circle of appreciation. Why do we do this? We look at the person, we love them, we cherish them, and we say something positive and awesome about them, right to them. What does this do? It counteracts gossip. It counteracts negative self-talk that people sometimes have. Oh, that person doesn't like me. This happened to me, recently. Someone told me, I was told that this person said, David doesn't like me. I had to say, what? I love you. I love you. I've never thought ill of this person, never. And yet this person had the sense that David didn't like them. So maybe something that was said was misinterpreted, whatever, yet let us never have that as something that happens where someone even feels that we don't like them, that we don't love them. If we treat everyone as divine co-equals, all of us are created in God's image and likeness. Therefore, we're all co-equally created in divine glory and divine power and divine authenticity and uniqueness. Then none of us is better than another in our original creation. None of us has it out over another, has a greater ability to do this or that, or be better, or be holier, etc., right? We're all created equally in the eyes of God. So what is the sense of criticizing or denigrating another person? It's silly, it's stupid, and now we hear that actually it defeats us. We are actually stripped of some of our energy when we do this. You can actually feel it when you do it. I felt it when I've done it. I immediately regret saying anything negative about anyone. I catch myself, and I always try to end on a positive note. So I'm not perfect, neither are you humanly. If you catch yourself doing this, stop. Ask for forgiveness for what you may have said. End on a positive note, as the Master says. And then choose and make a vow to yourself. I am always, even if I observe something I don't humanly like, I am always choosing to hold that immaculate vision. I am always choosing to be love. I am choosing to be like Cyclope and Virginia, great visionaries, the great silent watchers, and I am mastering this initiation on the 6 o'clock line, and I am gaining more and more energy because I'm only going to speak positive things. I have met people in this life who I've never, ever heard say a negative word about another person. Never. Never. My son, one of my sons is like this. I have never heard him say anything negative about another person. And you may know people like this. These are powerful people. They may be humble. You may not think they have a lot of attainment, but they do have attainment on this initiation, and it is great attainment. Now, what do we do in a political season? Boy, what an opportunity to practice this science. This is the hardest time to do this because are you getting all these things in the mail now? Oh, my God. Emails, ads on your mobile device, and in the mail. I mean, they're nonstop, blasting this or that candidate, both sides. I just put them all in the trash immediately. I rip them up and put them in the trash. We have to, as initiates, be the way, the truth, and the life as Jesus was. The only people he was critical of that we have in the scriptures were Sadducees, the Pharisees, who were deceivers of the people. They created a whole system that was limiting and vile and evil, keeping people in ignorance and keeping them away from opportunities to become self-realized and enlightened. Cast out the money changers. He used some pretty strong words a few times. Yet for the common person, he loved them so much. He beheld their perfection, he beheld their true self, and he healed them. And even the sinners and the lowly he came to save. He said, I came to save the one, not the 99 who are already safe. I came to save the one that's lost. So maybe we should do the same.